Okay. Hey, welcome back, everybody. I have a special guest with us today. We have Alan Fu. He's an Aussie badass down there, just killing the game. I mean, actually, before he tells us a little bit more about himself, I'm just happy that my own girlfriend, Iris, was able to introduce Alan to me. And I mean, from here, you've been speaking on stages. I forgot to ask how old you are, but I thought we'd share this with you guys, the audience, just me meeting Alan for the first time, because I know he has so much value and we have such tight schedules that we just want to get the word out there, and we thought we'd bring the value to you guys. So welcome, Alan. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, Luke. I appreciate that, man. It's a great intro. Yeah, I mean, we met through Iris. We met through your girlfriend. Really cool how we're on the other side of the world and technology has been able to bridge the gap and bring us together. So it's been super exciting. To answer your question, my age, I'm 24, turning 25 this year. So still quite young. Pretty excited that, I'm able to take advantage of a lot of the opportunities that are out there for people of our age group at the moment as millennials. And so that's been pretty exciting there. Now, a little bit about myself. Where can I start? I mean, I started entrepreneurship when I was 14 years old. I started my first business at 14. I was doing mobile tutoring. I was finding clients through WeChat and Instagram and Facebook. And I kind of like tried to figure things out myself, right? Like it was really interesting back in the day. Just trying to really find clients and learn how to build a business. And so I really dove into the online world when I was about 18, 19 years old. I got started in network marketing, or MLM as people commonly refer it as. That business has now gone on to produce almost $2 million in commissions for me and my family, which has been pretty exciting.
Nice.
And that's just pure profit. It's not revenue in terms of most e-commerce speak, right? It's just profit, which has been pretty cool. In the last couple of years, from there, what else has happened? I've built an e-commerce business with my brother. He was doing about 40K a year for himself when he first got started in the e-com space for himself. I went and helped him this year, and I was like, you know what, we should collab, we should do something together. It's always fun to work with family, and so we've taken his business now, we've 10x'd it, which is super exciting. So we made what he made in a year in about 6 weeks this year, so that's been pretty exciting. To go on and do that, right? That's been pretty cool. And
Nice.
so, because we keep most of it in house, we've been able to keep profit margins high there as well. I know, Luke, you're in the FBA space where most people are seeing 20, 30, maybe 40% profit margins. I've always been able to, well, I'm talking to my brother now, is how can we drive our profit margin? And we're speaking of numbers like 70%. So we're aiming for 70% profit margins in our business, which is pretty hectic for an e-commerce business. So that would be a very fun experiment that we're working on this year. And what else do I do? Digital marketing space at the moment. So we have a digital marketing agency in lead generation and automation to help people actually scale their business and have freedom, right? Like a lot of us, we start a business, but we never get to get out of the business. Like we're stuck in the business, and that kind of sucks. And yeah, we're launching some new projects maybe later on this month. We're doing a fitness project with a celebrity athlete here in Australia, working on some influencer stuff in the branding space on LinkedIn. And yeah, going to be launching a couple of other cool things later on this year. But that's a little bit of a self-introduction, I guess. And hopefully that's kind of like covered most of the spaces in
Yo,
terms of who I am and what I'm kind of doing at the moment.
wow, Alan, that was quite the resume. I mean, 24 years old, but you started at 14. You knew this whole online thing was the way to go. I mean, I had the thing where, I mean, I had some grants and scholarships to go to college, so I pursued that for a while and then realized it's breaking time. Am I going to go sign my life away to this career or take a stab at entrepreneurship? And I just kind of got into social media marketing, helping clients grow their social media. That led to me helping my hairstylist, who I can't get haircuts from, but she hooks up free haircuts. And I mean, she's at 6,000 followers. And before that, she was afraid to even be on Instagram in the first place.
Wow,
So
that's cool, man. That's really cool. Like, I think it's always starts with who's local to you. I mean, that's how I started too, right? Like, I started through helping my friends. I started helping my family. I started helping, the people that used to serve me. And even when you're talking about your hairstylist, me too as well. Like my barber, I'm trying to help him get a mortgage right now by connecting him with a mortgage broker friend of mine. It's always funny how the world works. You always want to support the people that you're in contact with and you're around, and you're trying to help them build their businesses. And I think people with that sort of mindset are really impressive. Like at the back of our mind, it's always, how can I help you? It's like, what can I do for you? It's like, what sort of value can I deliver to you? And I think that's really cool.
Yeah, and talking about that, I mean, just the whole mindset of getting into things. I don't know about you, you probably have, but due to the whole pandemic that's facing us, a lot of people are out of their jobs. They're looking to start making money online. So, what would you give to some advice, some like momentum to help these people get into this new mindset? Because online business, you got to have yourself accountable, hold your own self accountable. And it's just, there's a whole new mindset that comes with it. But now is the time. Like, you see how risky the 9 to 5 can almost be, man. Like,
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I think that's a fantastic question, right? Right now, we're in the middle of a pandemic. This is a once in a 100-year event. You know, both me and you, we have never even gone through anything like this in our lifetime before, right? We're still both young. And it's like going through this. What was the last time something like this happened? 2008, before that, 2003. And they weren't as big as this. And this is, people are comparing this to back in the 1930s. That's how bad it's going to get, like the Great Depression level, which pretty much everyone that's alive right now hasn't gone through that, right? And if you have gone through that, you're like 95 years old, and I don't know, man. There's not much you can do in terms of the financial control stuff, right? At that age group, just yet, right? But when it comes down to us, like we've never seen a time where the 9 to 5 has been more risky. Literally every day when I open up my Facebook, I have a friend that's going, I've been made redundant, I'm out of a job, I'm applying for government payments, and all of that sort of stuff. It's so crazy to see. Now, the problem with going from working a job your whole entire life and going through the traditional system of going to school, get good grades, get a degree, which is something I also did myself, right? I graduated from Sydney University. I have a bachelor's in science. I was going to go down and become a scientist, a nutritionist, or a doctor. Those were like the three pathways that I was going to go down. And it was like, okay, so everyone's been working a 9 to 5 their whole lives. Now, the question is, how do you switch over to building a business for yourself? It's hard. Because when you build a business for yourself, no one's paying you anymore. No one's watching you anymore. You've got to actually spend money to make money now. And it's like, that's the biggest barrier a lot of people come to. It's like, how do I spend money to make money? It's scary, right? Like, oh my God, I've got to buy inventory. I've got to buy a website. It's going to cost me $200. It's going to cost me $1,000. It's like, that's scary. I've got to spend. I don't know if I'm going to get that money back. I don't know if I'm going to sell. I think the mindset really is between an entrepreneur and an employee is an entrepreneur believes that they'll figure out a way to make things happen. An employee is always waiting for a moment where someone tells them and someone can fix their problem. That's fine. An external sort of influence can help them. But when it comes down to the entrepreneurial mindset, making that flip onto the online business side of things, you got to be disciplined. Luke, you and me both know, right? Like if we're not running our stores or we're not talking to our team or we're not making sales, we're not going to make money today. That's the fact, right?
right.
That's the discipline behind it is you've got to get up, get into a routine yourself. Instead of working for someone else now, you're working for yourself. You are your own boss, keeping yourself accountable. And so you've got to take responsibility for all the wins, the losses, everything that comes is you've got to take responsibility. Now, if you can't take responsibility for everything that's happening in you and you just go down the victim mentality mindset of blaming everyone, of blaming the platform, just because Amazon FBA didn't work for you doesn't mean it's a scam, right? Just because drop shipping didn't work for you doesn't mean it's a scam. Just because network marketing didn't work for you doesn't mean it's a scam. Just because a digital marketing agency didn't work for you doesn't mean it's a scam, right? When you literally have other people out there, thousands if not millions of people out there that are cleaning up on Amazon, cleaning up on Shopify drop shipping, cleaning up in network marketing, cleaning up in digital marketing. There are people out there winning. So really, you have to ask yourself is, okay, whose fault is it actually when I'm leveraging another platform to earn an extra income for myself? So you've got to take responsibility for your wins, your losses, and everything in between. And that's really how you'll see that growth because it's not easy. I'm not here to say it's easy. It isn't. Some of you guys might be hearing, oh, this guy's young. He's got a few successful businesses and he's gotten lucky. It's not. Like, I started my life. I haven't told Luke my life story yet, but I started my life coming from a first generation immigrant family. Like my parents are immigrants to Australia that don't earn a lot of money. We lived off government payments for a very early stage in our life. We were almost in bankruptcy stage where we ate out of garbage bins, right? Like it's not an easy lifestyle, but hey, it comes a time in your life where you go, you know what? I've got to step up, take responsibility. And right now, during this crisis, it has never been more important for you to step up, take responsibility for earning your own income than to be reliant on someone else to pay your income. There was this thing I said in my webinar 2 weeks ago where it was people are scared right now, not because they have lost their jobs, but because they don't know how to actually make money, because they've been fed their money their whole entire lives. They've been fed their income their whole entire lives from another external source. They don't actually know how to make money for themselves. That's the real reason why people are scared. They're not scared just because they lost their job. Right? Like, I don't mind if I were to work a job right now, I wouldn't care, if I lost my job, because I'm confident in my ability to take something off the street and sell it, to build a something, or to market a something. I'm more than confident in my ability to do so. So whether I have a job or not, whatever, I'm not too flustered. But a lot of people are, simply because they don't have that confidence in their self-ability. So hopefully that kind of helps your audience a little bit, Luke, with getting into that mindset. It's all about discipline, all about taking responsibility for themselves, and really just be willing to take the risk and bet on yourself. Right? We've been betting on other people our whole lives. Why not bet on ourselves for once to see how that pays off?
Exactly. Those are so many good points. I'm going to follow it up with one in a second. But for those of you guys who are here, let us know if the audio is coming through clear. Drop some comments. Like if you guys have any questions or anything, let us know where you're tuning in from, all that good stuff. I mean, it's a pleasure. You're all the way in Australia and I'm in Washington State, man. That's like,
How cool is that? Like, all the way on the other side of the world.
that's so awesome. And
So cool.
I just wanted to follow it up with just the whole thing about delayed gratification, because when you're an entrepreneur, man, you put things off you put in the little 1 inch every day to finally see that compound effect at the end. Like there's this book by Darren Hardy. It's just so good, man. The compound effect. And it's just,
Effect by Darren Hardy. Oh man, he's one of the first speakers I've actually seen. Because you know how I mentioned I was in network marketing. Darren Hardy is actually a good friend of the company that I'm with, and so he was speaking at a company convention, and he was one of the first speakers I'd ever gone to in terms of personal development. I was 18 years old at the time, and he was talking about the compound effect, and I was like, this is the man to follow. And then I read his book, and I'm like, thank you, sir. Right? Like, thank you so much. You've changed my life. Yeah, compound effect, man, absolutely important.
yeah. And I mean, just like the videos I do on YouTube, guys, you don't need to have 1 million subscribers or 1 million followers to make all this money. Honestly, like there's another saying, or like your 1,000 or 100 true followers or something is all you ever need to whatever. Like you'll have 1,000 people that'll listen to you, no matter who you are as well. You also need to take that into perspective, because even if you think you're the weirdest person on earth, there's 1,000 people out there that would still look up to you or something. So
100%. Everyone has their niche, right? Everyone has their niche. So, who are you appealing to? And this is something I teach to my social media people as well is, you're not looking for the 1,000 likes. You're looking for the one like that is actually liking what you're doing, right? You're not looking for, those 1,000 comments. You're looking for the one comment from the one person who's actually going to take action. That's what's important. Is a lot of people get caught up going, oh my God, my post only got 50 likes instead of 500. But you don't realize those 50 likes on that post, that particular post, could be your actual engaged buyers. So you never know, right? I mean, and like you said, it's all about delayed gratification for us as entrepreneurs. Actually doing something, taking action once today, we don't see instant returns, right? Like we never see instant returns. I know with Amazon FBA, like when you get your first batch of product, you don't even know if it's going to sell, but hey, that's your first investment that you've made in yourself, and you never know what it's going to look like down the line. Everything is all about delayed gratification. And that's the mindset that I kind of grew up with, is understanding that the action I put in today is not going to reap me rewards until the future. And the reason why I say that, and a really good analogy for that, is think about, when you are planting vegetables, right? I started my very own veggie patch about 4 weeks ago before Australia went to full lockdown. I was like, yeah, no, we're not going to be able to get fresh fruit and veggies anymore. So I started my own veggie patch in the backyard, and I harvested today. It's been about 4 or 5 weeks now, and today was my first harvest, right? And the thing is, when you plant those seeds, are you going to dig up the seed every day to go, oh my God, has it grown roots? Has it grown roots? Has it grown roots? Or are you going to leave those seeds underground? You're going to water it. You're going to do your fertilizer. And then after about 3 weeks, then maybe the shoots come out of the soil. At that stage, you see your first sort of technical results, especially if you're going to look at it from a business analogy point of view. That's your first results. And then now, 5-6 weeks later, I get to harvest a fully formed bok choy, right? And so now I get to eat dinner, and I've grown my very own organic bok choy. But that took 6 weeks. Whereas I could just go to the supermarket, buy one for $2.50, and be done with it. That's the difference between the delayed gratification and, the normal sort of exchange transactional.
yeah, I mean,
That we know. Yeah.
exactly. And just the whole thing where also what got me inspired was I knew that it was going to be a marathon, not a race. The people that skyrocket to success fast tend to just fall fast as well. So for me, it was kind of the thing of looking at every little win as a really big deal. Like the first time I found a product or I downloaded a product research tool to like help me get on this path. Like it's just these little incremental steps that finally led to me saying like every day, wow, my first message to a supplier is just such a big deal to me. And when I got obsessed with that and knew that every little ounce I'm putting in is going to be just the hope to building my future, I was just like, I'm sold, man. Like I'm not building anyone else's business. This is strictly for my own doing. And I mean, I hope to benefit more people in the future. That's the only way you really make money, by giving value to your customers, and then the word spreads. And I mean, what do you think about that?
Oh man, absolutely. I agree. Like, you can have everything you want in this world if you can help other people get what they want. I genuinely believe in that. And what you're saying about treating everything as a small win, I absolutely love that, because a lot of people tend to forget, right? Here's an example that I'll probably give is, if I went and did Luke's course today and Luke was like, Alan, you know what? I'm going to coach you, mentor you, VIP, one-on-one for the next 3 months. Let's go help you build an Amazon FBA store and let's get it to 6 figures in the next 3 months. And I take his offer, for example, right? It would be much easier for me to succeed at that because I already have the predestined mindset, right? Like I already have 10 years of business experience. If Luke was like, Alan, I need you to go and find a product and drop $5,000 on that product and let's go get it white labeled. And I'll be like, okay, no problem. Whereas a lot of people might be sitting at home going, oh my God, that's a lot of money. I don't want to do it. There's too much risk. And so for me, I'm already ahead of the game in that sense because I have more experience. Now, a lot of people, and I do this in my network marketing business a lot, is I need to teach people how to understand this, is, someone might come into the business, just like you said, there's people that skyrocket, there's phenomenal people, right? Mm-hmm. Like the friend I was telling you just then, 4 years to an $8 million revenue product. That's like a unicorn, in the Amazon FBA sense. That's massive, right? And it's like, so there's people that do that, but then you forget, some of these people that create these products may have already had 5-10 years experience. Mm-hmm. They know how to spot a market trend. They know how to spot a product with sort of market potential. They know how to do all of that already, but you don't yet. So you can't be comparing yourself to all these people out there. Especially us as millennials, we get distracted. We get depressed when we see people that are performing better than us, faster than us, achieving results faster than us, right? Like, and this must happen as well. Luke, you would see this in your students. There's going to be students that start in the same cohort, within the same sort of week. There's one student that's hit their first $1,000 day. And then there's like 10 other students who haven't. The 10 other students might look at that one student and go, oh, he's just lucky. It's unfair. Or you can just go, wow, this guy might be different somewhere. Maybe he worked harder than I did. Maybe he slept later than I did. Maybe he did more research than I did. Maybe he was more risk, tolerant than I am. Who knows, right? So the thing is, we got to stop comparing ourselves to others. We got to start comparing ourselves to ourselves. The only race that is the most important in your business, in your life, in your career, is the race against yourself. It's the person in the mirror who you should be trying to constantly battle every single day, and not someone else. Because you never know their circumstance. It's like you trying to compete with someone else is a recipe for disaster, especially if they are already better than you, they have more experience than you, they're more risk tolerant than you, they have more capital than you. Then you're already going to be running a losing race. You have to be looking at yourself and constantly growing every single day. And that's where when Luke said, it's all about the small wins, that's what it's actually all about, because you're facing yourself. Those small wins are your wins, not someone else's. And you're winning and growing every single day, right? If you're growing just by 1% every single day, by the end of the year, if not even the end of the year, within the next 60 days, you've already doubled where you were previously. Like, how crazy is that, right? That's all it takes. 50 to 60 days and you are double who you were right now. And so it's just grow by 1% every day, guys. That's all it is. That's
all you have to think about. And it's the incremental things that people won't really pay attention to and not give them any gratitude. And then you need to build on that gratitude. It gets you the momentum to get to where you need to be. And if you think that you need to compare yourself to people, there's always going to be someone bigger and better than you, no matter who you are.
There's always someone bigger.
Yeah, I mean, you got to get that out of your head like real quick. But Alan, I wanted to ask you, like, tell us more about kind of your background, how you really like got into this. Like, did you surround yourself with the right people? Did you read certain books? I mean, how'd you get to where you are?
That's a fantastic I think it all started because my parents got involved in network marketing MLM back in the 90s with a big company. And, they didn't succeed in that company. And so they failed. They lost money, they failed, they didn't do well, they didn't make much. And so when they started off their second company, what was different was they were forced to do a lot of personal development by their mentor. And there's a reason why I'm very grateful for this industry for getting me started in entrepreneurship is because we get access to mentors, which is really cool, and it's for free. And so when my parents first got into personal development, they were reading books in Chinese because I'm from a Chinese background. And they came across this book called Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, right? And we all have heard of that book before. And I was turning 12. I remember this very, very clearly. I was turning 12 years old at that time. This was probably 2007, 2008. I was turning 12. And I was waiting for the Harry Potter book, right? I really wanted Harry Potter. And so it all changed for me was my parents, instead of getting me Harry Potter, they got me a book. It was all wrapped up. It was a book. I was excited. And I opened it up, and it's like a purple book with this Asian dude on it. And I'm like, Mom, what the heck is this? This is not Harry Potter. Harry Potter's not Asian, right? And they got me Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad English version, right? And so I was 12 years old at the time. So they made me read the book, and I read the book, and that's kind of the first step for me was opening up my mindset to what financial education was like, what the different quadrants were like, and, understanding liabilities and assets and all those sort of things. And I realized at 12 years old, and I'm so grateful for this, I realized at 12 years old that business was the way to go. Now, the year after, 2008, went through a global financial crisis. My parents had, at that stage, my parents had traditional businesses. So they had brick and mortar retail stores. We had 3 shoe stores. So, I grew up in a shoe shop. And we had 3 market stores on the weekend. So altogether, we had about $600 to $800,000 worth of stock. That's a lot of money.
Damn.
In stock. But when 2008 and 08, 09 came around, all those shops, we had to close down. No one wanted to buy our shops. We couldn't sell them. The rent started going sky high. We couldn't afford a lot of things. We had just gotten a fresh mortgage. And so we were over $1 million in debt. Damn. And so at that stage, that's what really changed it for me. That was when we started to find food from produce bins to eat because we couldn't afford fresh fruit and vegetables. And I was working with my parents every single day. We would wake up at 3 a.m. in the morning to pack the van and drive it all the way to a market on the other side of Sydney. And we would sell shoes for as much as we can because that was the cheapest way to sell products. Because there wasn't the internet back then like we have now. It would cost us $200 a day to set up a market store in a market to sell our shoes. It's not like e-commerce where you pay $200 not even $200 a month to Shopify, like $30 a month to Shopify, right? To set up a store. We didn't have that back in the day. And so I'll wake up at 3 a.m. with my parents, go to the shop, not go to the shop, pack the van and go to the markets and come home at 8 p.m. And we would do that for the next 4 to 5 years just to get rid of all the stock that we had until ultimately we found someone to buy the stock at 10 cents on the dollar. So we lost a lot of money. And so, going through that process, I made a promise to myself. I remember this pretty clearly. I was sitting in the back of our van. It was not even a van, it was a trailer. And I was reading a book and, I was watching my parents struggle and I was watching all the arguments that they were having. It's not easy, right? We see our parents, if they're not rich, they're not wealthy, they're going to fight because of finances. That's a no-no, especially in Asian household, finance arguments are like every second day, right? And so, and I watched that, right? I watched all of that and we were eating rice and water. That's all we could afford. It's just rice and water, and to have flavor, we would have spicy bean curds, right? And so that's literally our meals for 6 to 12 months time. And I remember just sitting there one day and I was reflecting. I don't even know how I had the self-awareness to reflect at 13 years old. I was like, I finished reading the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. I was reflecting on the situation we were in at home. I was watching my parents struggle every single day, and I made a promise to myself to never be broke again, to never eat shit out of trash ever again. To be able to retire my parents, give back to my parents, and to be the best parent and to be the best sort of person that I could be. And so I that day was really when it all began for me. 12, 13 years old, I made a promise to myself to never ever be broke, to never ever need to starve, to never ever need to eat from a trash bin, never ever need to like worry about money. And I made from that promise, it was really just going from there and living true to myself and figuring out what was the right pathway for me to take. And that's pretty much where my entrepreneurial journey began. was that one promise. And I think for all your audience as well is, if you guys really want success in this world, like, I don't even see myself as successful. I don't see myself as someone that's made it. I don't think I have. I think I'm only honestly just getting started in my journey. And it's really just making the decision to go pro in wherever you're doing, to take yourself seriously, and to make sure that you understand that, hey, life's not a joke. You've got to take it seriously, right? And if you're going to do something, do it properly. And so that was pretty much where my journey began. If I were to really pinpoint the exact moment, that was it.
I mean, what better beginning could you have had than getting Rich Dad Poor Dad at 12 years old? Like,
how crazy is that, right?
I didn't get that till long after college. And man, I just didn't know any of this. I was oblivious to this whole business world of things until, I mean, I always had that spirit in me. Like at the skate park, someone could say, egg me on for just $1, be like, hey, I'll give you $1 if you do this tray flip down this big stair set. Got to be first try. And I would always like do it. And it would push me to try bigger things, because there was just like this thought of like winning individually to get somewhere new. So I don't know. It was just something that pushed me in the beginning, and just always learning how to try again through skateboarding as well, falling off my board a million times. Now the things come muscle memory to me. So it's just like, you have to repeat things even when they suck, like you're falling on a skateboard.
Know the rule, right? It's 10,000 hours to become a pro at anything, right? If it takes 10,000 hours to become a pro at anything, I don't expect myself to get good at anything that I'm trying. I've gotten very lucky in terms of, building the business and figuring out the right way for it. That's because I've had 7 years of experience in previous businesses already, right? And I think it just compounds and compounds and compounds with all your skills, and they just get a lot better and better and better with all your businesses that you progress to build out as well. And so it all starts from somewhere. You have to suck before you can be great. And I'm sure, when you first started as well, Luke, like, what was your journey like with Amazon FBA when you first started? It must have been like a lot of mistakes there too, right? Like crappy listings or a bad product or something. There must be.
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning, I went really not tolerant. I barely risked anything. Like, I went in $500 on 100 units of a product. I remember the course I took said get 500 units and you'll probably need like 2,500 at least to start. But I figured, let's just do a test order, see how things work. And I mean, sure enough, they didn't sell as fast as I wanted them to. They were super strong magnets, and I did a 10-pack of them. But the moment you get something in, you will just start to realize there's things that you wish you could have done before you actually ordered it in there. So, I mean, I ended up making a little ebook so I could at least send something out to customers when they ordered it through email, adding that little extra value and standing out on my main image. Like, I have a little ebook showing you 50 ways to use the magnets. But I mean, it was just like, dang, I wish I did this, or I wish I added these. So getting these test orders is a good way to get going. Not throwing everything in at once,
And that's really cool, like you learned that through experience though. And a lot of people ask me, they're so risk averse, right? And they're like, oh, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. That's cool, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But the best way to learn is through falling. It's like, how did we learn to walk? Is we kept falling on our face over and over and over again as a baby. Same thing in business, is you're going to fall over multiple times. You're going to fail multiple times. You're going to suck multiple times until you figure out what works for you, what way works for you. And, from there, you can continue to grow and learn. And I think we just need to be willing to trust in ourselves, have that little bit of courage to go, you know what? Stuff it. Let's go. Let's give it a crack, right? And then from there, you can start to learn and develop that experience. And as you build out that experience, that's when you really get good at things. And like yourself now, you know how to do FBA. You know how to do it properly. You know how to list your products. And if I were to take away all your stores today, I guarantee you within the next month, Luke would be back with a bigger and better store, right? Like, if I were to be like, you know what? All your stores belong to me now. He would be like, yeah, okay, whatever, because he can come back with any other product. I think that's what building business is about, developing that confidence to go, I can do this over and over and over again.
Exactly. And honestly, I had one of the biggest setbacks of my life, and it's every year something crazy happens. And honestly, Amazon had restricted one of my most profitable listings. I had 3 listings in this category, and they said they were professional medical devices. So boom, immediately I had $30K a month just gone. And I was like, holy crap. So then it took me months and months to get it back. And it was just like this process of sticking with it when literally I was making like $0 on Amazon, and I keep track of all my profit reports, and I could just see, I mean, I had other items in there making me some money, but nothing like it was, but I stuck with it for months and months, fighting to try and get it back, getting FDA approval, like doing every hoop that I had to jump through, and finally, and then it got back. So, I mean, I lost my whole business, but I found out and learned so much on that journey about my own level that I can now handle problems. I used to maybe only handle level 5 problems. Now I'm at like a level 8 I can handle without breaking a sweat.
That's
So,
awesome. Yeah, that's so cool. I think a mentor of mine once taught me as well, the size of a man is determined by the size of the problem they can overcome. And I was like, damn, damn, that hits me good, man. I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. I'm like, yeah, I'm a big man. I got this, right? I can handle any problem. Throw them at me. I love that. So that's awesome, right? Like that's how you overcome problems. And it's gonna happen. 30K a month to $0 a month hurts, right? It does hurt. Like, it doesn't matter what you're on, whether it's 1K a month, 5K a month, down to zero, it hurts, you know. And especially when you're first getting started in entrepreneurship, just know that you're gonna fail. You're gonna fail a million times, right? You're gonna fail, and failure is one thing that you cannot avoid. You know, it's the step ladder to success. We've all heard of that one before, right? Failure is the step ladder to success, and that's the reality here. Now, every single time Luke is going to come up with that problem again, he's going to know the right solution. He's going to know how to overcome that. He's going to know how to tackle that problem. And he wouldn't know it until that problem actually came up. You know, and that's the best thing about it. You know, treat every failure, treat every obstacle, treat every bit of adversity as an opportunity to grow and come back even stronger. And I think that's a very, very important mindset hack as well for people to flip around.
yeah, that's huge. And we have some people tuning in, Philly Phoenix,
Awesome.
humble beginnings create character. So, I mean, you came from eating out of practically garbage bins at one point
Yeah.
to then, I mean, that probably pushed you so much, man. Like,
Oh, 100%. You know, and I think, like, you know, I didn't realize that it was because of financial issues. Honestly, I thought it was fun. I was young at that stage. Me and my brother were jumping in these giant, you guys have them in the US as well, like those giant bins, right? Like those giant rectangle sized bins. And we were jumping in there. I'm like, this is fun. I'm like, look, there's a cabbage there. Look, there's a lettuce. I'm like, that's great. Like, I used to jump in. It was fun. Until now, I'm a little bit older. I'm like, hold on a minute. Why were we eating out of the bin in the first place? And my mom's like, it was because we couldn't afford food. I'm like, oh, and like that little bit of like oblivion. Like I was oblivious to the situation, but you know, now thinking back and reflecting, I can truly understand it and appreciate, you know, what we were doing, and also not just what we were doing, but I can appreciate my parents, you know, trying to do whatever it took to put food on the table and, you know, look after us. And I have massive respect for my parents. You know, I think it's absolutely phenomenal, and I know you have that as well because I see what you're doing with your dad. But I think it's extremely important for us to remember our roots and where we came from. You know, like my tagline for my business is always hustle hard, be humble. And there's a reason for that. It's because I honestly believe that we owe ourselves to work as hard as we possibly can for our future. But at the same time, we should never ever forget where we came from, because that's ultimately what started your journey. And you should never ever lose that.
damn, dude, knowledge bombs, motivation bombs all over the place, man. And guys, like, drop a thumbs up on this one, because we weren't even gonna do this. I was just like we should do a live stream because I thought I wanted to meet you, man. Like, Iris, my girl, set us up to meet, and I'll have your kind of Facebook link down below for anyone that wants to go add you there and, you know, give you some thanks. You have so much knowledge and under your belt already, man. Like, so much experience, I should say.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, like, I've always told myself to just get down, get dirty, you know, figure it out. And that's how I started my journey. I never had a mentor. You know, honestly, if courses like what we have nowadays, the online course community we have nowadays, existed, you know, 8-9 years ago when I first got started, I would probably have a smoother journey. You know, I tried to figure things out myself. 18, 19, 20, 21, up until 21, I had no mentorship. I was trying to figure out things, you know, on my own. And back to that question that you had, I think on the first question you asked me is like, you know, who did I spend my time with? Like, what was the community? It was all about that. When I first started, I had a massive ego. I'm like, you know what? I'm young. I'm smart. I've got this. Who needs a mentor? They're old. What do they know? I'm using the internet to build my business. I don't need anyone. I got this. And boom, for 2 years, I sucked. I think the first 2 years of my business, I remember clearly, I made $5,000. That's it. I made $5,000 in my first 2 years of business. and I sucked so bad. And when I came back into so I had to stop because I also failed uni by building my business. I was focused on business so much I failed uni, and I got a letter from the chancellor of my university going, Alan, if you fail one more subject, we are kicking you out. So that was like my life changing moment. I was like, shit, do I give up on entrepreneurship, go back to uni, or do I go to uni and give up on entrepreneurship? Like, what do I need to do? Like, and so I was like, you know what? I'm going to put entrepreneurship on pause. I'm going to stop building my business. I'm going to actually focus on uni and not waste the tens of thousands of dollars I've spent being here. And so I did that, finished off university, and then my mindset changed. I flipped it. I was like, humility wins always. I would learn from anyone and everyone. Doesn't matter if you're a 1 week old entrepreneur, doesn't matter if you're a 10-year-old entrepreneur. I'm there to learn. And I spent maybe the first 6 months of my journey just diving into, seminars and webinars and diving into all these live events and meeting people and networking. And, I've spent a lot of time now, very successful multimillionaires that are building massive companies and businesses. I've spent time with people that are in the net worth of billions, asking them questions about business and what they do. And it's just like, just leveling up my network at every opportunity that I get. It's always figuring out who's better than me. And Luke is way better than me at Amazon. And just really getting down on that humility train and just learning from everyone and anyone, because there's just all you really need from one person is one sentence or one word that can really change your life. So I'm always, on the edge of my seat, listening to the people I'm speaking to, waiting for that one sentence or one word that can really blow up my mind and blow up my business. So, super excited about that.
Dang. Well, yeah, the comments, everyone is agreeing, man. Like, thank you. They love it. This has been so awesome. And I just want to have you just share one more question before we wrap it up, because I know we got things to do. But I mean, just kind of some advice for people to get started. Or, I mean, actually, instead of advice, we already covered that. I wanted to actually ask you, what are your future goals and plans for things, and maybe tie it into anything motivational for others. Like, I know you wanted to do that entrepreneurial, like, academy where you have your own stage. And that's why I want to learn from you, because you're on stages speaking, and I would love to be able to, I'm trying to do it through YouTube, but on stage in person, like, that's such a great skill to have. And you're trying to make that accessible for other entrepreneurs, I think.
I mean, that's a great question. It's always about the vision, right? I mean, a lot of entrepreneurs start a business to make money. Well, I like to put it first and foremost, I'm not that type of person. Like, money for me is like, whatever, money's great, right? Like, everyone knows money's great. But that's not the end goal for me. Like, I have a massive vision of things. And, we were talking about this a little bit before we started recording. And so the future for me kind of looks like, you know what, I want to build all my businesses to at least a minimum of $1 million a year profit, right? That's for all of my businesses across the board, whatever it is. And $1 million really isn't that much money if you think about it from the grand scheme of things. It's great. It's a great sort of fundamental base to have. But moving on from there, it's not just about the money, but it's like, okay, now that you have money, what can you now do to add more impact and influence into the world? And so what one of my end goals is, I really want to build an academy. I really want to build, like, whether it becomes physical or stays digital in the future, I'm not too sure yet. But I want to build something where I can take on universities. That's a massive vision of mine, is to be able to create an area where people who don't believe in the traditional model of life to go to, where they can learn exceptional skills from proven people in specific areas of life that can teach them real, down to earth, real actionable skills. Like, a lot of us, we have this realization. We go to university, we study this degree, and we realize most of the theory that they teach us is irrelevant to our life. It's even irrelevant in some career pathways, right? Like, you go and do this degree and you never use half of it. I don't want that. I'm trying to create a community where not only can we have a stage where people can influence, be motivational, not only that, but we can also provide value in terms of the products and services that we have. But I want to build an academy where people can actually go to and learn and develop themselves, whether it's in personal development, mindset. I want to create a global community where everyone can come around and become the best version of themselves. I honestly think that's what it's about. Most people I've met in life who have gone through the university pathway like I have, we don't come out a better person. And I think that's really interesting. It's like, we've spent 40, 50, 60 grand just to go through a degree. We come out with a piece of paper that gives us, the potential to get a job, which most companies now don't even need you to have a degree to get a job, big companies anyway. And it's like, do we not just, you don't just come out with, like, that piece of paper, but, like, do you actually become a better person by going through this educational institution? Right? That doesn't happen in most cases. So for me, my big vision is, One, I'm going to build, my network marketing business to $1 million a year profit business. I'm going to build my brother's e-commerce business for him as well to $1 million a year as well. And from there, I really want to scale that because of the niche that we're in. I want to bring that up to a 9-figure business and really take over the industry here in Australia because there's no one else in our space. So I just want to crush it. That's just one thing. Digital marketing wise is just going to be fun. I really like helping people get started in business, and I really like helping people with a business actually live a life. There's one thing with owning a business, and there's one thing called being owned by a business. And so I really want to help people own their life so that they don't need to be stuck in their business. Going on from there, really building out this academy, bringing people like yourself, other proven entrepreneurs onto the platform to teach other people how to get started. It's all about community. It's really hard starting up a business by yourself. It's really hard trying to become successful by yourself. It honestly really is. Because as soon as you go through your first failure, you don't have a crutch to lean back on. You don't have a mentor to call up and go, "Oh, I suck. I just lost $500,000." Right? You can't, like, there's no one there to help you. And that's the whole point of a community is you go, "Guys, I had a bad week this week. I stuffed up," and everyone else can go, "You know what? I've had a bad week too." And you go, "Oh, hold on. I'm not the only one that hasn't made it happen this week. That's okay, right?" And then you can understand and learn from your mistakes together. Ultimately, it's about creating that community of people that are like-minded and creating that academy where people can further their skills and their life skills and also further their lives. Like, money is not the most important thing in life, but it is absolutely important to the quality of life that you live and the ability you have to give back. I genuinely believe money is just an amplifier for you as a human being. So if I can create an academy which allows you to be not just a good human being, but equip you with the skills and tools and ability to, make a lot of money and help a lot of people, then I genuinely believe we can make the world a better place. And so that's kind of like my big picture vision, what I really want to do. And hopefully within the next 5 to 10 years, I'm going to build out that academy and take on some universities here in Australia and potentially overseas and global. Who knows? So it's always working towards that next picture, right? Like, never ever settle for where you are today. Never ever settle for what you have. Always 10x that. Always go higher. Always go bigger. Always go better. Never ever settle. And I think for all of you guys that are listening today, it doesn't matter where you are in life. You have the potential to be 10 times better than where you are today. You have the potential to be 100 times better than where you are today. But none of that is relevant until you decide to start. Doesn't matter. None of that is relevant until you make the decision to start, and you can figure it out later, as Richard Branson says. Say yes to an opportunity, then figure it out later. Because if you don't start, you're never gonna actually have the opportunity to figure it out. So guys, I mean, if you're on the fence about anything, whether it's joining a business, whether it's doing a course, whether it's starting a product, or whatever it is, until you say yes to yourself, no one else is gonna say yes to you. So it's all about getting started, and you can definitely live out that life, right? Like, it's possible. Just look at Luke; he's done it. Look at me; I've kind of done it, right? Like, we've been able to go out and do that simply because we said yes, not to anyone else, but said yes to ourselves first, and then made that investment in ourselves. I think you can definitely do it. Anyone has the possibility to succeed.
Wow, this is like the most powerful interview, man. This is so sweet. Cause you're good at it. Cause you've been on the stages, man. This is freaking amazing to just have you here. Like, everyone in the comments is like, just like, take action. Like, we can do this. So, I mean, I love the motivational aspects to it. And I mean, before you go, what is currently motivating you? Are you reading something, or is it every little win that still is driving you to go further and further? Like, I know you might have some new opportunity come up, and is that what motivates you, or?
That's a great question. So there's two types of motivations for myself. I believe more in inspiration. I'm always inspired. I love having things being internal for me. But when we come down to the external forces in life, whether it's motivation, right? For me, motivation, there's a push and a pull. So right now, I'm getting pushed by my failures, and I'm getting pushed by my lack of results, right? So where I'm stuffing up, I'm getting pushed by. Where I'm getting pulled by is opportunity. I'm always seeing bigger pictures out there that a lot of people can't see. That's what's allowed me to get connected with celebrities. That's what's allowed me to get connected with influencers, because I see opportunities they don't. And it's not very often that you have a celeb reach out to a person who is 24-year-old random dude that they found online and go, "Hey, let's build a business together." I'm like, okay, cool, right? Like, that doesn't happen for many people. But why does it happen to someone like me? It's like this random Asian dude in the middle of Australia, right? Like, why does that happen? But it's like, there are two things that always motivate me. It's always the opportunities that drags me and pulls me towards becoming better every single day, because I know that if I can create more, do more, I can serve more. And then there's always the other side of things, which is all the negative stuff. That always pushes me. Every failure I go through, right? At the beginning of this year, I've launched multiple different businesses and websites. Half of them are dead. They don't work out, so I've wasted a couple $1,000s. Okay, right? So I understand, okay, so I've wasted a couple thousands of dollars of there. I've built these websites, they don't work. I've built these products that don't create any sort of need. And I'm like, okay, so if that sucks, that's what motivates me to go, okay, I need to find the solution. There are two schools of thought always, right? It's like you can either be the problem-focused person or the solutions-focused person. I push myself to be the solutions-focused person every day because I hate talking about problems. The problem's there, but a problem's there because someone can address it. There's always a solution to a problem. And so I want to be the person who finds the solution, because if I just find the problem, then that doesn't really help me. It just actually eats into my mindset. It eats into my mental health. But if I find solutions, it excites me, it makes me happy, going, wow, there's more possibilities out there. And so it always just comes back down to that, man. Like, that's what really drives me every single day. Is just, I just want to do better for my family. I just want to do better for myself. I want to do better for, my partner. I want to do better for, the world that we live in, and all the people that choose to believe in me and work with me, right? Like, I have a global team that follow me and work with me in my network marketing business. I have to give back to these guys. I have to serve them. I need to make sure these guys can succeed. And not just that, in e-commerce, I need to be the example that I can go and show my friends that are in e-commerce, hey, this is what we can do to fix your stores. This is what we can do to, help you make some more money and impact more people, right? I think that's what's really pushing me every day. Is I don't believe I'm good enough yet. I never believe that I'm at my peak yet. I never believe that I've reached my, pinnacle. And I always believe that there are more and more things I can do in this world to impact people. It's just I haven't done enough yet. And so I'm always constantly driving forward to be better every day, to give back more, to serve more, and to be able to, provide more value in this world. Because, like, I'm just getting started, right? And that's my motivation. Is I'm just getting started. I'm at the beginning of the race. That's it. So let's get started, right? Let's move forward. Let's keep going. That's my biggest motivation right now.
Yeah, there's so much. And once you start to uncover one rock, you realize there's a million other, and then you start looking in so many directions. I mean, this has been a really great interview. For those of you who were here, thank you so much for watching till the end. Drop a thumbs up on it and go check the first link where I have Alan linked below. You can follow him on Facebook. And I mean, this was so great. I know we're busy, but maybe we'll get a chance to speak again, hopefully in person.
Yeah. Oh, that would be great, right? I mean, like, we're always traveling. So if you ever come down to Sydney, Australia, when this whole entire travel restriction lifts, hey, you're welcome, man. Shoot me a message. I'll take you around.
This is so cool. So guys, that's what we're talking about. Living proof right here. So I'm so happy. Again, thank you everyone for joining, and we will see you in the next video. Peace out.
See you later, guys.